What up, sports fans? This is Jake Waxman
And Tyler Lavalette.
coming to you live from the studio here in Waterford, ready to talk more about sports on this beautiful, beautiful Friday. Tyler, I think we just had some really surprising news as of late. Is that correct?
That is correct indeed, Jake. In a move that no one really saw coming, former and longtime New England Patriots head coach Bill Belichick is going to be the new head football coach for the University of North Carolina's football team. This is a 5-year deal, and it's crazy that they replaced a guy in Mac Jones that was a year older than him to do this. No one really saw this coming.
Hold on one second. Hold on. Keep it rolling. I'm sorry. What? I mean that. What? A what? Bill Belichick going to coach college football? Who had this in their bingo cards? Because I certainly did not. This is a shocking, just beyond shocking move. First of all, here's something I want you guys to know. He's 72 years old. In most professions, this is about retirement age, or people are starting to look forward to spending the rest of their lives, not only living it out, but trying to achieve their desires or any other goals that they had left. This really, really shocking move. Just cannot believe it. Like, what? Okay, he must clear. Okay, the big thing that comes to my mind when it comes to this, I think he's got a plan for, I believe his son, Steve Belichick. Is that correct?
I think so. There's also apparently some ties that he had to the UNC thanks to his father and all, too, apparently, from what I've heard.
Yeah, this is weird. It's just weird to me. But clearly, based on this, the fact that Bill Belichick is going back into not into just coaching football, the fact that he's going down to the college level and at North Carolina, that tells me I think he's probably trying something that he's wanted to try in his late 70s. He's probably, I don't know if he's ever coached college football, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if this is his first time, all right, my guess is he's trying something new, and it'll be interesting to see how long he'll be the coach at North Carolina. My guess is he's setting something up for his son, Steve Belichick, or to succeed him, in any case, because I have a feeling this is not going to be a long-term coaching gig for Belichick. I could see at most maybe like 3 to 5 years, rough estimate. So this is a move I did not see coming. I give the floor back to you, Tyler.
And look, we have seen collegiate coaches like Bobby Petrino and Urban Meyer go into the NFL, and Nick Saban too as well, not succeeding really much. Pete Carroll did with Seattle, but that's kind of more the exception. Yeah. But to see a guy do the inverse, wow. Who saw that coming, like you said? No one had this on their 2024 bingo card.
Yeah, honestly. Like I said, this just seems like a move where Belichick is kind of riding into the sunset and coaching just maybe for a few seasons to set something up for his son, Steve, to succeed him at North Carolina. Maybe Steve can learn under his father, Bill, and then take over, and then maybe eventually make his way back into the NFL. But honestly, you could say this sounds like a retirement move on Bill Belichick's part, where he's doing something he loves for a final stretch, and then he's going out on his own terms. That's what this seems like. And this is a chance for him to, North Carolina, they're a solid college football program. They've had a few good years, and last year under Drake May, or not last year, but the season before under Drake May, they did really well. And, of course, things kind of didn't go as well this year. So, honestly, I'm so shocked that I'm not 100% sure how to feel about this, other than the fact that this seems like Bill Belichick going out on his own terms and maybe doing something that has been an interest for a long time, and coaching college football, coaching college kids, and maybe teaching them some lessons through football. That's honestly that's the only thing I can think of is he's 72 at the moment, and he wants to go and in a football sense, he wants to ride into the sunset on his own terms, and I think that's what he's doing here at North Carolina. Back to you, Tyler.
I honestly don't blame him for that at all. It's like I said, it's still surprising, still something to wrap your head around, but I wish him well. And if it's, like you said, if this is really truly a way for him to give his son a chance, so be it. I don't feel like there's any sort of silver spoon attitude situation or anything like that, because I feel like he's going to have Steve work hard to get to it too. So there's no easy handing it over. So
no doubt about that. And honestly, let's keep something else in mind. One thing that I almost about forgot to mention, this is Bill Belichick. This isn't just any other coach. This is a guy that won six Super Bowls with New England. This is arguably one of the most, if not the most, successful coaches in NFL history. And he's going down to the college level to coach. I mean, this is just, wow. Just wow. But you know what? There's always a reason for all things that we think about. There is a reason. There is a reason why he is going to North Carolina. You know what? And it's not just because Bill Belichick wants to do this, but he's got some sort of plan. I don't 100% know what it is, but you know what? Bill Belichick, he's a great coach, and he'll go down as he's an NFL Hall of Famer. And you know what? He's got a plan for his family in Chapel Hill.
That he does. We will eventually get some good understanding about this in due time. Now, is he going to help North Carolina lead to win the ACC championship and make the playoffs? Who knows? We'll see what happens next season and beyond.
Absolutely. Here's the thing. I mean, he's making a tricky transition. Of course, it's like Tyler said, it's backwards from the NFL to college football. Will he find success at North Carolina? You know, that remains to be seen. No, Bill Belichick, great coach, but college and the NFL, so much more different in terms of play style. Will Belichick have an idea how to grasp that? We will find out. But I will say this to Bill Belichick. I wish you all the best in North Carolina, and hopefully you can continue to make them a respectable football program.
I will also wish him well to close this out as well.
All right. Shifting gears, and we're going to go now to college basketball. And I will start by saying this. Roll clip. So the talk in terms of, not college basketball, but basketball in general. We're going to actually shift to the WNBA. Caitlin Clark, who is one of those athletes that everybody's following. Everybody's talking about her. You know, she came from Iowa, made her way to the WNBA, and now she's with the Indiana Fever. Caitlin Clark has been named Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year. This is a huge honor for her and a well-earned and well-deserved honor for Caitlin Clark. Tyler, I'll let you share your thoughts. Go for it.
Honestly, Caitlin Clark was great with Iowa for women's basketball being such a huge draw, along with Paige Beckers and Angel Reese as well. Great players nowadays. And to see that success of the Caitlin Clark effect transition well into the professional leagues is incredible. It's just mind-blowing because of what with the WNBA now. They're going to be set to benefit from having games on ESPN, NBC, and Amazon with the new package that the NBA also has. So there's going to be a huge Caitlin Clark effect for NBC ratings, Peacock subscriptions, and especially Prime Video subscriptions. Not to mention anyone who just subscribes to ESPN's upcoming flagship service next year, because that's going to have games too.
Absolutely. Through her hard work and her talent in the basketball, she's become a revenue machine for any league that she is in, just like you said, Tyler. So here's the thing. So when most people, they get this an award this big, a lot of times they get voted in because popularity or because the person has a great personality and has a huge impact on whatever sport they play in one way or another. it's actually rather different for Caitlin Clark, and it's unique. And the reason I say that she is deserving of Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year award is because she is doing so many different things at once. She lets her play on the court speak for itself. She's got all the talent. She can ball out. She can shoot the threes. She can drive the net. And you know what? She can inspire others around her to do the very best that they can. That Iowa team that she played for, or those Iowa basketball teams that she played for last season, they went on twice, 2 years in a row. Under her leadership, they went to the national championship because she inspired that team to play their hardest. And like I said, the hard work, it really pays off. And it is refreshing to see someone who works hard at her game, but also inspires others to do their very best. So that's one reason that she is deserving of this award. Before I go into the next part of it, Tyler, what else is on your mind?
Honestly, I would love to see WNBA basketball myself, and by extension, the National Women's Soccer League and the Professional Women's Hockey League. But there's this one tiny problem.
Wow.
You need to have teams in Detroit. We had the Sock in the WNBA at won a couple championships in 03 and the mid-2000s, 06 and 07. On 08 and 06 and 03, but they eventually went to Tulsa and are now the Dallas Wings. We haven't had a team ever since. We don't even have a women's soccer team. We don't have a women's hockey team, although if the success of the PWHL's game in Detroit last season was a success, I feel like Detroit's bound to get a team sooner rather than later in that league. But yeah, you want me to come check out women's basketball? Give me something I can actually attend. It's kind of hard, not exactly easy to make the drive down to Indiana or Chicago or New York to go. And no, Cleveland doesn't work either. They haven't had a team there in years. So, yeah, I'm kind of screwed there.
There it is. Tyler and his Detroit first. His Detroit first mantra. Well, I will say this. Maybe Caitlin Clark will see this, and maybe with all the work she's done, which relates to my second reason for why she got the award, maybe she can inspire more of those women's teams in Detroit, as you have mentioned, Tyler. And here's the thing. The big reason why that Caitlin Clark absolutely deserves this award is because the biggest reason, too, she is inspiring women all across, not just in basketball, but all across sports, to get involved in sports, to play sport. She is pretty much, right now, Caitlin Clark, she is the guiding light for women's sports. She is the beacon, all right? She leads the way for the progression of women's sports. The thing is, she draws eyes to the WNBA. That's been her work. More people. There have been more butts in the seats at WNBA games because everybody is there to watch Caitlin Clark play basketball, and it is a work of art watching her play. She's talent. I mentioned she is talented. Because of that work ethic that she has, people want to watch an athlete like her go out and ball. And honestly, for the WNBA, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing because the viewership has increased a lot. And if that's going to, and here's the thing, it's not just the WNBA, it's going to help grow women's sports in particular, like women's college athletics, any sport you can think of, women's hockey, you name it. The work that she has done, putting her work into her craft, it's going to inspire other female athletes to work their tail off and pretty much help them drive not only to be the best version of themselves, but to also help their sport be the best version of that sport can be. That is the beauty of Caitlin Clark's game. Back to you, Tyler.
And I feel like with the rise of women's sports these days, I've been seeing that there's going to be, in Portland or something, there's this women's sports bar that's focusing only on women's sports on their televisions. That's going to be a concept that's going to be huge when it goes national. but that's going to be a big positive impact. People going to, if it's in market for the WNBA team, those players are going to have good merch opportunities to draw crowds or to watch the games, and really, especially the female demographic, because it's women's sports. It's going to be huge for that.
Absolutely. Tyler just listed a great example of the impact a female athlete like Caitlin Clark is already having on women's sports. We're already seeing new projects that are more geared towards women's sports. And here's the thing. It's a tough topic to talk about because we should be, all of it, like whether it's athletes or even sportscasters, we need to do more for women's sports. So this is good to see. And Caitlin Clark, even if she's not really trying to do anything for women's sports, she still is doing a lot for women's sports because, like I said, the attention she draws to WNBA and potentially the attention she could draw to other women's sports, whatever she decides to do, like whether she goes and plays in Europe or something or anything else. It's wonderful to see. And also, let's keep in mind this. Caitlin Clark, she has taken a lot of crap in the WNBA. She's been pushed around to the max by those other women in the WNBA. And the fact that she keeps getting back up and just keeps striving forward and playing her best. She keeps putting her best foot forward, no matter how much punishment she is taking, whether it's some foul that doesn't get called or, she gets hit elbow in the face, which should have been a flagrant one. I've seen a lot of instances where other WNBA players have gone out of their way just to make life difficult for her when she's playing basketball. And yet, she just keeps going. She keeps striving forward in a very tough women's sport and women's basketball, or the WNBA as we call it. It is extraordinary to see her putting her best foot forward no matter what's happening. And for all these things that I'm mentioning, this is why I believe she deserves her award as Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year. What say you, Tyler?
Absolutely. It's well-earned, like what Jake mentioned. Now let's just hope that Indiana can have a deeper run in WNBA playoffs so she could help draw more of an impact for their finals ratings. Not that they ended up being bad or anything, but the Caitlin Clark effect would really work well if her team made it far into the finals.
Absolutely. I think they made the postseason last year, too, which was really good. And obviously, she was Rookie of the Year. So a couple other things I just want to mention, closing out this subject. Okay, one of which, first of all, I know this episode's going to come out later this week, and I want to say this. Okay, I am aware of a statement that Caitlin Clark made, one that has, unfortunately, angered a lot of people. I just want to let you folks know I am aware of it, but we are not going to discuss that because it's political, and I don't mix politics with sports. I don't go that far, so we're not going to talk about it for that reason. And secondly, admittedly, I need to do a better job watching women's sports, okay? I got to do a better job. I talk about wanting to do more for women's sports, and I need to do more. I need to watch more women's sports. I need to watch WNBA basketball because, like I said, I'm a Chicago guy, but I also really like the city of Indianapolis too, admittedly. So I'll be rooting for the Indiana Fever, and I'll be rooting for Caitlin Clark because I know she's doing a lot of great things for women's sports simply by playing the game of basketball. Any final thoughts, Tyler?
Yes, I made my point about wanting to be able to support women's sports myself. Mm-hmm. And in regards to that comment, I won't make any comment because I don't want to get into those weeds.
Yeah, none of us do. We're just here to talk about sports.
Yes, please.
That's all. That's how we roll. Two guys talk sports. We have this policy: no politics mixed with sports. We want to make that abundantly clear. We don't, because it just doesn't mix well. It gets really, really ugly. Ugh, like that. So we have this policy, and we will not talk about politics related with sports. We're just going to focus on the sporting aspect of every topic, okay? To make that clear. So on one final thought, once again, to close this out, Caitlin Clark, she deserves her reward because she works hard and she and through her hard work and through her mentality and through all the crap that she's been through too, she puts her best foot forward every single day, and she does the best in every single situation she is in, and she is inspiring others. She's inspiring women all across the United States and the world. She's the face right now of women's sports. No question about it in my mind. So to close it off, Caitlin Clark, congrats and well-deserved on winning Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year.
And one final thing, USA women's basketball team, you better put her in for the LA 2028 Olympics. I get why you didn't for Paris, but the attendance for many of those games did not resonate well. I remember a game, I think, against Japan, where people were wanting to see Caitlin Clark and were rightfully disappointed that she didn't make it.
Yeah. I mean, I was disappointed too, but I also kind of thought, okay, this is good for her because it allowed her to make that smooth transition from college hoops to the WNBA, and it's a lot too. But you know what? She'll be on Team USA in 2028 for Los Angeles because not only she could bring the ratings, but you know what? She can ball out. She's talented. All right. I will say this: they better put her on the team, and you know what? I have faith they will because, hey, the talent and the attention she brings to women's basketball and women's sports in general can't be overlooked. You just can't overlook that.
Absolutely not. And I'll leave it at that.
Yep, but that is where we'll finish with that topic. And shifting gears, rolling along. I believe in a few days' time, actually a little over a week time, we have the first ever college football 12-team playoffs. Tyler, I'll let you start with this one.
And it's funny that we start the first round with an Indiana battle. Ooh. This is good. This is good. Notre Dame is set to host Indiana on next Friday at 8 p.m. on ESPN/ABC. And this is a big deal. Not only because you have more teams competing now for the national championship, but this marks the first time since 1990 when a Notre Dame game was on ESPN at home that it was not on NBC. They had that partnership for Notre Dame home games and hosted neutral site games since 1991.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Tyler, which matchup were you most intrigued by, but you clearly have answered that question. Indiana and Notre Dame, a first round. Who would have had this coming in the college football this season? Indiana and Notre Dame meeting up with each other in the playoffs. I can't even remember the last time Notre Dame played Indiana or if they've actually ever played Indiana before in their history. Wow. Maybe this is the start of a new rivalry, but this is a matchup. That is the matchup, like Tyler, and as Tyler said, this is a matchup I too am looking forward to watching. This is the matchup not this weekend, but the next one that I am most intrigued by because, like Tyler said, battle of the state of Indiana. You've got the surprising Indiana Hoosiers, and you've got the consistent Notre Dame Fighting Irish, who always have a good record. Both of these teams, one-loss teams. Notre Dame, of course, they lost in an upset at home to, I believe, Northern Illinois. Mm-hmm. And then Indiana, of course, their only loss of the season was against Ohio State. That's another good team. So, and, oh boy, South Bend is going to be rocking. I don't know if it's going to be blue or is it going to be painted in red. We're going to find out. But that matchup, it's going to be intriguing. The thing that I am going to be curious to see the most is how Indiana's offense is going to be able to handle that ferocious Notre Dame defense. Go for it, Tyler.
Yeah, it's going to be fun down in the South Bend area. And, yeah, that's the big thing. How will Indiana do up in northern Indiana against the Fighting Irish? They have matched up in the past, like I think last time was in the early 90s, but they haven't really faced each other much regularly. It doesn't help that Indiana hasn't been good for a while either, so.
Yeah. The thing is, Purdue, when it comes to an in-state rivalry, they're used to we're used to it being Purdue and Notre Dame. That's the big rivalry when it comes to college football in the state of Indiana. But this time, the in-state rivalry, of course, is now Notre Dame and Indiana in this case. So, and this will be a coaching battle too. I will tell you guys that much. Kurt Cignetti against Marcus Freeman. Who's going to outcoach who? And both defenses, by the way, they're good. These are really good defenses. So this could be a really low-scoring game too, depending on how the defenses play. Now, with that said, Tyler, do you have a score prediction for this game?
I'm going to say Notre Dame wins and faces, I think it's Georgia, 26-23.
Mm-hmm. So you got Notre Dame. All right. Indiana, they're going to have a chance to win this game. I think they're going to play hard. They're just going to fall short. I'm going to go with Notre Dame winning with a classical score of 21-17 in favor of the Fighting Irish. Both defenses, they'll get a lot of sacks. You'll have some turnovers, but I think Notre Dame is just going to be just maybe just a smidge too much for this young Indiana team. Now, I will also say this, regardless of how, for Indiana, I know they're Purdue's rival, but their fans should be proud no matter how this game ends, because they've had a season that nobody, not even Hoosier fans, expected. To be in the playoffs in the first year under Cignetti is an accomplishment in and of itself. And so props to the Hoosiers for a great season, regardless of how this game goes. And if they do advance, good for them. The winner of that game, as Tyler mentioned, will get UGA, or the University of Georgia, in the Sugar Bowl.
I'm surprised they're not playing in Atlanta.
I mean, that's just the way things line up. Also, other matchups, we'll talk about the other ones real quick. One I'm going to be keeping my eye on is SMU and Penn State. Okay, this one. So you got James Franklin. He's got this moniker around him. He can't win the big game. He couldn't beat Ohio State. Still can't. This is a chance for him to prove, and his Penn State Nittany Lions to prove themselves, but they're going to be the favorite in this game. SMU, though, this is a team nobody wants to see because they are dangerous. Go for it, Tyler.
They could have easily been in the automatic in the buys had they held off Clemson at the very end.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That was a good ACC championship, of course, and for their first year in the ACC, SMU, they exceeded a lot of expectations, and the reward is they're in the playoffs and with a chance to upset Penn State. And you know what? Prediction-wise, I think that's what's going to happen. This is going to be probably my biggest, in my prediction-wise, I'm going this being my biggest upset for the college football playoffs. SMU over Penn State in Happy Valley. It's going to be a close one. I'll go with, I need a unique score. The scoreometer thing, or however you pronounce it, it's driving my mind bonkers here. So I'll go with 30-27 in favor of the SMU Mustangs, and I predict they will advance to face the almost equally surprising Boise State Broncos in the Fiesta Bowl. What say you, Tyler?
Boise State, they will be facing Penn State. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say 35-32. Or, okay, maybe 35, 30 maybe. Keep it close.
There you go. Hey, way more unique score than I have.
Yeah, I was just having to bring that one on the fly.
There you go. Hey, it's all good. All right, next matchup I'm going to focus on. We got Battle of the Orange teams, Clemson and Texas. These are two unique teams. Congrats to Clemson, by the way, and Dabo Swinney. They deserve to be in the playoffs because they won their conference. And, good on the college football playoff committee for honoring the promise to put conference champions in the playoffs, and especially ones that had a good enough record. Sure, Clemson had 3 losses, but they deserve to be there because they won when it mattered, and they are a good team. Texas is going to be tested, all right? This is going to be a really, really good game. A hand off to Tyler on this one.
Texas was also a surpriser in their conference debut with the SEC. They made it all the way to the championship game. That says a lot that the most successful team in the Big 12 was able to successfully transition to SEC without hits. They might not have been able to win it all, but they still did good enough to get into the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. Tyler, you know what? Tyler just said it best. And he said something that I have overlooked. This college football season was full of surprises. And the big surprise was conference newcomers winning their conferences. And of course, while Texas did not win the SEC, they still are in the playoffs because they did far better than many of us could have expected. I mean, I figured they'd have a good season, but they move over to the SEC and make the SEC championship in your first season in the always brutal SEC is nothing short of just amazing. And I admire Texas for fighting through it all, getting as far as it did. Of course, they lost to Georgia, who's also a really good team as well. Georgia and Texas, those were the two best teams in the SEC, no doubt about it. Now, with all that stuff that I just said, Clemson is going to give Texas a test, but I like Texas in this matchup. I'm rolling with the score of, I'm going to go with 42-35 in favor of the Texas Longhorns, who I believe will advance to play Arizona State in the Peach Bowl.
All right. So unfortunately, sorry, Dabo, but I'm going to have to agree with Jake on Texas for this one because it's great that you made that run. You won the ACC championship, but I'm going to say Texas 28-14 over Clemson.
Dabo, for the record, we still appreciate you. We just think Texas is going to win. No bias, and nothing personal.
Yeah, no ill will.
All right, we got one more matchup to preview, and this is going to be a good one that is going to be a little tough to predict. It's Ohio State at Tennessee. Oh, man. So here's the thing. The pressure is on for Ryan Day. Okay, yes, he lost to Michigan, but he's won a lot of other games, and he's got a chance to prove that, hey, I can bounce back. I can prove Jake Waxman wrong. I can prove that I'm doing more than my share of helping this team win. He has a chance to prove me wrong, and you know what? Hope he does well in his 12-team college football debut. He's gotten Ohio State to the playoffs before they went to 12 teams, but it's been a while. And, of course, Tennessee, they're tough. Another tough SEC team. I mean, those Vols, they don't play around. They got a lot of depth there. Both teams. This is a tough one to call. Before I make my prediction, Tyler, what's on your mind?
Honestly, it's surprising that he has not been able to beat Michigan these past 4 seasons. He really had their number for a while prior to 2020 when it didn't happen at all. But still, ever since 21, the boys in Ann Arbor have had his number. And it's not exactly pretty for them in Columbus.
Which is why. Yeah. Sorry about interrupting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why the seat's on fire for him going into this playoffs. You lost to Michigan. You've got that bitter taste on your mouth. Now, you've got to figure out how to get rid of that bitter taste. And the only way to do that, you got to win in the playoffs this year. Or the seat's going to be, gosh darn, on fire. So this is a big one for Ohio State. They got to win, or the pressure's really got to be on next year because it's not easy to get back to the postseason. And Tennessee, they're tough, as I've said. And sometimes I wonder if Tennessee is as good as their ranking indicates. We're gonna find that out. Not this weekend, but the next one. Now, with all that being said, I'm gonna go with Ohio State here. I think they're gonna eke this one out. They're gonna tough this one because Ryan Day has shown in the past that he can beat some really good teams. Okay, he just can't beat Michigan for one reason or another. But he's beaten other really good teams. You know, Penn State, I've seen him, and they came close to beating Georgia in the playoffs one year. So, with that being said, you know what? I'm going to roll a dice this one, and I'm going to say Ohio State wins this game 35-24. That is my prediction there. Go for it, Tyler.
Okay, you had an upset earlier. I'm ready to have one, and I've saved it for this one for a good reason.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think anyone in Michigan would really want to see Ohio do good, Ohio State do good, because like I mentioned, Michigan have done a pretty good job on ensuring they can't beat them for the past 4 seasons. Tennessee is going to do just that to Ohio State. Ryan Day, enjoy having your seat being hot on fire because you're going to get a nice 28-14 shellacking by the Volunteers.
They're gonna get volunteered. Or somebody call the fire department then. Ryan Day, his seat is mighty hot. Oh,
yeah, it's
fire
not
department.
Gonna be pretty, but Oregon, you're gonna enjoy facing the SEC. You're gonna enjoy facing them in the granddaddy of them all, facing the Volunteers.
That's right.
In Pasadena. It's gonna be fun for you.
So we got a different Rose Bowl then. You've got Tennessee and Oregon. I've got Oregon and Ohio State. So I would have what would in most years be considered a Big Ten Pac-12 matchup between Oregon and Ohio State, and this has happened before. But now it would be an all Big Ten Rose Bowl if Ohio State gets past Tennessee. Wrap your head around that. What world do we live in now? Goodness.
A world where money revolved around everything. That is why we had all these conference realignments in the SEC and Big Ten.
No doubt about it. The money talks. The money talks. This is why the conferences are all the way that they are, and that is why the Pac-12, or what was formerly the Pac-12, is having to retreat and restructure and add new teams like Boise State, by the way. Any other thoughts going into the playoffs, my man Tyler?
It's going to be nice having these more teams in the playoffs. It's going to be fun, and it's great that we're going to be able to have these bracket challenges for college football as well. Because it's not exactly exciting only having 2 semifinal games and not a championship.
Indeed. I like that. Also, I love the scheduling that they did with the college football, the 12-team college football playoffs. I like that it's starting just before bowl season around the winter solstice. I think that was a really well-chosen date, and especially considering they get the teams that are in it or in this first round, they get a week of rest in between. I think that is really crucial, and I think that was really well done by the structuring of the scheduling. Really well done by the College Football Playoff Committee. What do you think, Tyler?
Agreed. We have wanted more teams in the playoffs. We're getting it. And pretty soon we could get 14 by 2026. We could get 14 teams in the playoffs. I don't think it's going to get super high like the March Madness. Okay, that's fine. But we're going to get just enough to make us happy. And that's good. We want to be able to have more excitement to watch.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
I was just going to say, Tyler, just picture this, if you will. I mean, we got a 64-team NCAA tournament. Picture a 64-team college football playoff. How do you structure
the Shield would not be happy. I'll leave it at that.
We have like a national championship on the same day as the Super Bowl. Oh God! I also want to say, like, on one final note of the going into the college football play. Now there were some teams that felt like, they really got left out on some fan bases, and one in particular is Alabama. And I mentioned this in my wax on Wednesday. I talked about why Alabama didn't get in. And me and Tyler, we talked about this. We were like, and I was like, if Alabama gets in, I don't know what I'd do. And Tyler said it was something along the lines of, hey, it wouldn't be a surprise. Well, they didn't get in. And you know what? They shouldn't have been, like I said, they shouldn't have been there. You can't, I'm just going to say this to Alabama. You cannot always Mercer your way into the postseason. Cannot always play a non-conference opponent in November and expect to get into the postseason, into the college football playoffs, because that's not how the committee works.
No. Oh, and one more thing. Don't lose to Vanderbilt next time.
You lost to the railroad people, too. You lost to the Commodores. And by the way, they're called the Commodores because that was Cornelius Vanderbilt's nickname, the Commodore. That's how they got that name. And also, Alabama, you want to get into the playoffs too? Don't lose to 2 6-6 teams. Don't get blown out by 6-6 Oklahoma. Is it that hard to understand? I mean, I know it's not easy to play college football on a consistent basis, but if you want to get in the playoffs, give it your best foot forward and schedule tough opponents in November. That's how you prove yourself.
But you know what they just did?
Oh, what did they do?
They have made SEC, the haters of that team, enjoy the first year without Nick Saban as a coach.
Living up to the moniker of when Alabama loses, America wins. There you go, America. Yeah. Enjoy.
Yeah. Georgia is still not down in team in the SEC, but I'd rather have Georgia or Auburn or LSU and Texas than Bama.
We all got our biases, and you know what? I do too. Like Tyler, anybody but Bama, because you know what? They've been spoiled enough. That's just how I feel about it. I've made that perfectly clear, and I'm not hiding that.
I'm not going to deny the legacy of Nick Saban's success, and he's done great with College Game Day. He's good there so far.
Absolutely. Hey,
kudos.
Nick Saban, great one. All right, I respect his greatness. All right, I respect what he's done at Alabama. I've just had, like Tyler, we've seen enough of Alabama being so dominant. It's time. It's been time for a new era in college football, and you know what? We're here in the new era. And what a way for Alabama to start the new era, missing the first ever 12-team college football playoffs.
For us non-Bama fans, sit back, relax, enjoy the football. And put your if you have any recliner, just knock it back a few inches. And get the foot rest up.
Don't forget the popcorn too while you're at it.
Yeah, that too.
All right, so that's me and Tyler's predictions for the college football playoffs. What else you got on your mind, Tyler, the man?
Okay, so to the surprise of no one, we are about to have some bizarre World Cups after 2026.
Go for it.
So, 2026, normal, U.S., Canada, Mexico. Okay, I can get behind that. All the stadiums are already there. We don't have to do too much. Maybe rename a few stadiums without corporate names, but no loss. But 2030, the centennial year of the World Cup, and you're having it in Spain, Morocco, and Portugal. Okay, not bad. They're relatively close. But then you're going to have 3 matches, one each in Uruguay, Paraguay, and Argentina. So you're going to have 6 teams playing in South America to start in their groups, then fly halfway across the world to Spain or Morocco to finish up the other 2 games in their group play. Does that sound dumb enough to you?
I'm sorry. What? What? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And I thought the thought of Bill Belichick being the coach of North Carolina blew my mind away earlier. Okay, this is I don't know what to think about that. Oh my god. Okay, maybe it's just the new era of the World Cup or something, or maybe they're taking the term World Cup to a whole new level by spreading it out a bit more. But for traveling wise, this is going to be a nightmare. This is logistically speaking. But then having to fly like the teams that advance, as you said, in South America, having to fly them to Morocco or Spain. This is going to be insane. There's jet lag. There's going to be problems with jet lag. What? I'm sorry. FIFA, have you lost your mind on this? Did you plan this? Help me to understand, FIFA. Back to you, Tom.
Okay, there are some good reasons behind this.
Okay.
2026, CONCACAF is hosting. 2030 knocks out Common Bowl. It knocks out UEFA, and knocks out CAF in Africa from hosting future World Cups for a few years. This leaves us with two. OFC and Oceania with Australia, even though Australia competes in the Asian Football Confederation, and said AFC for 2034. Australia did not make a bid for 2034. That leaves the Asian Football Confederation. And that also leaves another Winter World Cup.
No. Oh, gosh. We already went through this nightmare, right?
Yes. Saudi Arabia in 2034.
Oh, my goodness. And I would have loved to have seen the World Cup in Australia. I want to see that happen someday. Oh, I mean, if Saudi Arabia gets it, I hope they do well. But
Well, they are.
Okay.
It would announce formally on Wednesday in a virtual FIFA Congress holding, same with the 2030 Cup. And look, we're not going to go too deep into their issues, as Qatar had as well.
Right.
And there's plenty. And there's also plenty of good reasons as to why this is happening. But it won't be pretty even on just the logistics alone with League Cups, as we saw in Qatar.
Yeah. All right. Like I said, I just hope they do well. And hopefully they're able to find solutions to all these logistics, as you have talked about.
Well, to be fair, it's a single city country one. So it's not going to be as bad as the 2031.
Okay. Well, that's good. But it's going to be a lot of work for FIFA ahead for those two World Cups, as you mentioned. Of course, I'm looking forward to the North American World Cup, United States, Canada, Mexico. And then the others, I'll try to tune in. Hopefully everything, like I said, hopefully everything works out. It's a lot to work through, scheduling and then talking with the other leagues. It's like 2022 all over again.
But think of it this way. 2038 can't, because Asia's going to host in 2034. We could it could be either USA or Australia in 2038.
Ooh.
So it might not actually be too bad in the long run when you think about it.
If we get through those World Cups,
we could be having 3 World Cups as a country hosting before some of us born in 92 turned 50.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm feeling old already just thinking about this. I think I just grew some more wrinkles just thinking about this. All right, but a USA World Cup in 2038. I like the sound of that. Either that or Australia. Either one sounds really good. So
we'll see. But but it's really cool for the 26 one because we're gonna have a game in the playoff round on the 4th of July in Philly during our 250th anniversary.
That's right. Oh, that's right. 250th anniversary. Getting closer. Every single year, every single day. But anyway, to address what Tyler said, obviously, each World Cup, it's going to have its shortcomings. It's going to have some issues. But, hey, here's the thing. For me, it just comes down to this. As long as we get some good football or some soccer, as long as we get a good product out in there, that's the thing I care about the most. Leaving all the, keeping all the politics out of it. I'm just hoping for some good football in those World Cups. That's where I'll leave this.
Yes, that's ended up being the legacy of Qatar. Pretty much everyone forgot too much about all the migrant deaths going to Qatar stadiums when France and Argentina went to penalties.
Yeah. I will say that was a good final, too. I'm kind of bummed I missed that because that was a really good final between France and Argentina. And I was happy for Lionel Messi, who finally got his World Cup. And now he's pretty much achieved just about everything a great footballer could want.
Yep. That he has.
Anything else you'd like to say about this topic?
Well, it's not either way, the up to the World Cup after 26 will not be a good look for FIFA. And even the former head, Sepp Blatter, is not a fan either. So, yeah, it's not many people are going to like what's happening. Saudi Arabia, yeah, but besides that, It's just not pretty.
Yeah. And I'm just going to say this. With Sepp Blatter, who was the man responsible for the 2022 World Cup going to Qatar, when he criticizes your decision for a choice of locations for the World Cup, you know it's bad. And all I got to say is best of luck to FIFA, working out all these things, all these logistics to help produce a fantastic football product in both those World Cups. It's going to be tough. That is all I know about it.
I will leave you end this episode with this. Blatter was critical of the Qatar World Cup bid.
Oh, he was? Okay.
He was strongly supporting a U.S. bid. It was other members in third world countries like Africa and in Asia, as well as the head of UEFA at the time, Platini, that tipped the scale in favor of Qatar.
First of all, I never realized that beforehand, Tyler, so I learned something new from you today. So it sounds like to me that his hand was kind of forced, and in a way he was just sadly along for the ride and took the fall with all the corruption scandals and all that stuff.
Rather regrettable. If USA 2022 had happened, I don't know, Blatter would have still had a job or something, but oh well.
Yep. And the World Cups, or the host cities, may be so different right now. I'd be curious to see who would have been the host in 2026 if the U.S. was the host in 2022. How history could have been different.
Yep. We may never know.
Indeed. All right, we're coming to the end of the episode, but before we let things go, I just want to mention some things that are coming up. I know we're all talking about college football, but this weekend is, if I am correct, the Army-Navy game. Should be a really good contest between Army and Navy. Go for it, Tyler.
That it also is, and later that night is the Heisman Awards. Of course, if this video is not posted by Friday night, then you will have known who wins it, but good luck to all that have participated in the finalists for that award.
Yep. I guess I'll make some predictions. I'll go with Army winning the... Oh. All right, we'll go with Army winning the Army-Navy game by a score of... I'll go 21-17 in that, and I got Dylan Gabriel, the quarterback for Oregon, winning the Heisman Award. That's my prediction there.
I'm going Gabriel on the Heisman Award. I haven't really figured out all the other nominees to give him much thought, but I'm going to go Army as well on a 28-21 win.
Sounds good. All right, sports fans, we hope you enjoyed this week's Friday Roundtable. It's good talking sports with you again. And again, hey, follow us on Two Guys Talk Sports on Facebook and Two Guys Talk Sports and other things on YouTube. Don't forget, leave any questions you have for next week's episode, leave it with us and we'll try to answer it. And anything you'd like to say, feel free to say down below. And with that, sports fans, this is Jake Waxman
and Tyler Lavalette,
wishing you all a good weekend. We are signing off.